Oh, hello everybody. Jason W. Revolution Cave. Beautiful Thursday here. And again, we're switching things up like crazy. I am not yet prepared to do WrestleMania review for you. Liam and I are trying to beat a pathetic little game on the NES called Puss in Boots. Like that close to being a preschooler game. But it's actually got a little challenge to it. He's playing it now. So I don't want to show you the video of it until we beat it. So I won't let you see because come on, I want to beat as many games as I can, which is slim. And but you're a different story, except you're struggling here. But Puss in Boots, whatever, we're trying. So that'll be hopefully the next Nintendo. So I figured, look, let's stay on topic here with whatever happened to a lot of people. Some people, a few people have said that the channel can sometimes feel too wrestling centric.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that why you unsubscribed?
I can get that.
I get that. You can see that.
Yeah.
So let's stay with the memories. In fact, let's stay with the theme of yesterday's show. If you saw yesterday's show, it was hey, do you remember your first jobs? I talked about an apartment that I lived in during some of those first jobs, and we're going to continue with the trip down memory lane. And again, as we did yesterday, we're jumping out of the 80s and we're diving into the 90s, folks, to continue the hey, do you remember? This time it's hey everybody, hey you out there, do you remember your first apartment? Yes. Do you just lost all your lives? Do you remember your first apartment? Oh, do I? I think the first apartment, if your first apartment doesn't become your only apartment, I think it means more. Nothing against people who buy a house when they're young and they don't move, or who get an apartment when they're 18, 20, 21 and they stay there. Nothing wrong with that. But I think if you get that first apartment and then either you make more money or you get married or you do whatever and you move, then I think that first apartment means more, and that would be my case. The first going back to yesterday's show, when I made that hardcore $19,000 a year from the Lids managerial job, the first thing that I wanted to do was move out of my grandparents. I wanted. No. I think you got to go in that door, though. This is the maze. You're on the last board, dude. Congratulations. You got to jump on those things. Nope. You got to jump on those gray things. Nope. The one in the middle. Yep. There you go. And then there's a lot of doors, and I don't know which ones to go in. Now I'm watching him do this because we were just playing this today. We're trying to beat it. The first thing I wanted to do with the new salary was get my own place. So I had a friend who had just graduated high school. I graduated the year before, in 94. He graduated in 95. So in the summer of 95, he and I decided to become roommates. And we got a house. We actually rented I can't say that. It was a house in the city. It was a house in the city that was divided up into multiple apartments. And he and I rented it. And it was huge. And it was in a bad neighborhood, but it was a really nice house. Really old. And we had that apartment. And it was awful. It was dreadfully awful. Just two, immature kids with no furniture and no food and really no structured way of living. I mean, we didn't even have a kitchen table. We just had a cow. I think he bought like a big leather, sectional sofa, And that's all we had. There was nothing on the walls. He had his bedroom, I had mine. I mean, it was a disaster. We never once grocery shopped. When we moved in, we bought a pizza and we put a pizza box in the fridge. When we moved out, three months later or so, the pizza box was the only thing in the fridge. It was an empty pizza box.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah, it is sad. So that didn't work, and our friendship ended as a result. We broke the lease, and I stayed with my dad for about a month while my dad and I found me another apartment. And again, I'm 19 at the time. I'm 19. I'm 20. I'm pretty sure by this point I'm 20. And we find an apartment, and in this, you did it. You used the boomerang.
Is this my boss?
Yeah, use the boomerang. In this part of town, in Rochester, there's an area called Park Avenue, East Avenue. It's like the cool part of town, right? It's the cool part of downtown, and that's where I found an apartment. I found an apartment in the cool part of Rochester.
There's no cool part of Rochester.
There is the party district, the going out district, the cafes, that kind of thing. So I got an apartment in a building called the Mayflower, and it was a 3-story walk-up, 3-story brownstone, as they're called. And there's another one. It was so old that it had one of those elevators that you had to close 2 doors. You had to close the gate, and then you had to close the door. And it was awesome. And it was a 600 square foot apartment. It was a 600 square foot apartment, and I paid $425 a month for it. And it was the greatest place in the world. It was absolutely the greatest apartment in the world. I had rebought that leather sofa from the former roommate. I had, the $19,000 a year salary, of course. So I was buying, housing, furniture. I was buying end tables and, fancy coffee tables and fancy art. And I was decorating my little apartment. And I bought a bed. I remember having a canopy bed. It was this like black, and I've seen it a million different places. It's actually like a real, it's a cheap bed that people buy. And I bought it because I thought it was awesome. It's black, like iron, and it has the canopy part, and it's just so lame. And I lived there, and I had a blast. I had friends over, I had relationships over, and loved it. And I remember the feeling of being by myself, and I remember being complete. No, I remember.
At least in the city too.
I don't ever remember being scared. You're gonna let your brother play Mario with you.
I can't do that.
Yeah, but you're not gonna, because we've only got like a few minutes. I don't remember ever being scared. I remember being fine being alone because I had a best friend, and we were always out. So I would always either go to his place and we would go out. So I was always out. So that started the whole, partying, clubbing, I guess you'd say, drinking a lot of beers. And I was busy. Yeah, I had a car. I was busy. So yeah, my expenses was $425 a month for the apartment and $203, I think, for my Sunbird. My 1994 Pontiac Sunbird was my car, my awesome, cool car. So yeah, so so this is the kind of thing that's got like, it's got the washer and dryer, like 4 washers and 4 dryers in this nasty basement of this building that was probably built the 30s, I don't know, the 40s, I'm not sure, who knows. But I remember like no structure. I remember one night I had gotten home from because you go out till 2 a.m. That's last call. You go out till 2 a.m. You're still kind of hanging out in the parking lot until like 2:15, 2:20. Then maybe you go out to eat.
At 2:15 in the morning?
Yeah. And then I get home 3:30, 4 in the morning.
Oh,
So I remember getting home at 4 o'clock in the morning, washing dishes, and my phone rang. Not my cell phone, obviously, the landline. And I just picked up and said, yeah, hello. And they're like, hey, what are you doing up? And I'm like, I don't know. What are you calling for? You called me. Why shouldn't I be? Like 4 o'clock in the morning, washing dishes. No big deal. No big deal. Just been out for the night. No big deal. There was no structure. I remember grocery shopping once in the several months that I was there. I remember
McDonald's or shit.
I remember grocery shopping once. I remember cooking one meal in that house. I cooked pasta and Alfredo sauce with a piece of sausage. That is. I don't remember. That's the thing. I don't remember what I ate. I don't remember. I think because I worked at the mall, I had my store, so I probably ate at the mall a lot. I don't remember cooking dinner. I don't. And maybe I'm getting the dates wrong because I remember watching Princess Diana's death announcement in that apartment, sitting there in the middle of the night just watching, that unfold. So whatever the date was on that, it was around the OJ trial and it was around Princess Diana's death. Well, it was Princess Diana's death. I was watching it from the living room of this apartment. I remember it. Gosh, what else about that place? The way it ended. So here's a crazy story. So I got sick. I lost my job at Lids and got sick because so I had pneumonia or something. But before I had pneumonia, I came home one night from the mall, from Lids, and got a parking spot right in front of my building, which was unheard of. Got this parking spot in front of my building. There was a guy on the steps of the building with a TV. And as I got out, he's like, hey, can you give me a ride? My girlfriend threw me out and all I could grab was my TV. He's like, can you bring me to my friend's house? And I was like, I was 21 years old, dumb. And I'm like, I don't know. I think I was slightly intimidated by the fella. So I was like, I guess so. So I drive this guy who may or may not have been a complete crack addict. I'm not sure. I'm getting the impression that he was. And we make a stop at a house and he takes the TV and then comes back without the TV. And he says he just dropped it off at his friend's house. Then we find, he's got me in the city. I find his building. He finds his place. Goodbye. Hey, thanks for helping me. Can I get you anything? I think he thought maybe I was using at the time. So he wanted to give me, stuff to thank me. And I was like, nah, it's good. It's good. And he's like, well, what about like a car stereo or something? And I'm like, a car stereo? What do you, and I'm starting to think, all right, what am I getting into here? So I said, nah, I'm good. I got the car stereo. I'm fine. So he gets out, gone. He's gone. Never see him again. I get back to the apartment and I go in my apartment and I close the door and there's a knock on the door and it is the neighbor, one of my neighbors all the way down the hallway. And she is upset. We'd become sort of friends. And she's upset because somebody had broken into her apartment and stole her TV. And I was like, oh, well, guess what? I just helped that guy sell your TV and I gave him a ride back to his apartment. So she thought that I was like involved with the theft of the TV and she hated me and I got sick like a week later and had to move out. I mean, I told the police where the guy lived. So
You ever find him?
I don't know if they found him or not, but yeah, the legend is that I helped somebody boost a TV and gave them a ride back home. And that's how that ended. Then I got sick, got pneumonia, lost my job, came and never went back to the apartment, went to my grandparents and broke the lease. And that was the first apartment. It was a blast. It was, the children are down here, so I won't be telling, all the details of stories, but I had a really good time in that apartment. That was a fun place. And I I miss it. No, I don't miss it. I certainly don't miss that time. I don't miss that lifestyle. But first apartment. And by the way, I was not fully an adult. I was still a part of me because I remember on Sundays, if I wasn't in my store, I would get a pizza. I would walk down to the Pontillo's Pizzeria that was on the corner. I'd walk down. They had a deal for $9.99. You get a large pizza with every topping. So I would just get every topping they had for this $9.99 pizza deal. Get home on Sunday, watch football, and play with my LJN figures. That's right, folks. At 20, 21 years old, sitting in his first cool guy apartment in the city, eating pizza and playing with his toys. And my 7-year-old is laughing. My 7-year-old's laughing at me. All right, folks. First apartment memories down below. We'll see y'all next time. Good night.
You should play Fortnite instead of Westwoods.
Goodbye.